Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, folks. Sorry for being a couple minutes late, but welcome to another 2 p.m.-ish YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Jim, and today we got ourselves, again, quite a bit of a lineup here. We got some more Pega certification studying to do. That's what this next hour-ish is going to be. We got some Unreal after that. Some Unreal studying for an hour after that, and then we got some more videos to upload an hour after that. And then we're going to be switching off to play some Goat Simulator 3 tonight. So that is the plan for what's going to be happening today. So if you're with me right now live, then welcome. Hopefully you'll enjoy our the stream for today. If you are watching this later on YouTube, you're always welcome to join me on these live streams if you want. Feel free to step on by and say hi if you want. Or, continue to watch these videos, help me out with the YouTube algorithm, and that's fine as well. I appreciate either support or both. Both is fine too. Both helps. Okay. Um, what are these Pega videos? Who am I? And what should you expect? Well, I am currently a unemployed software developer, looking for work. But in the meantime, I'm trying to get myself the system architect certification. Was not able to get, well, I had time to get it. It just didn't have didn't feel like I had like the support per se, or like the mentorship that I was kind of hoping for from my last job. So in my last job, we had a authorized training partner at the very beginning teaching us the Pega environment. However, pretty much the majority of everybody that was in the team being trained by the authorized training partner pretty much went self-study. We were having some difficulties with his teaching style, and his coworkers knew about it, so it wasn't the fact that we were you could always you could try to say that it fell on us, but no. I mean, even the guy's coworkers knew that he was messing up a lot. But they pushed us through anyway. Um, they pushed us into trying to take the certification. I was definitely not ready on taking it, but I needed to take it. So I failed. It wasn't too much of a surprise on that, seeing that I was already um, mid self-study at that point. But I was definitely not ready for it. I missed um, six questions more than necessary for getting the minimum. Not exactly something that you should be aiming for, by the way. Um, but I was kind of thinking, hey, if I get it, I get it. It satisfies them, and we move on from there. We continue learning. If I don't get it, then well, yeah, it kind of falls on the training partner, you know. But um, the burden of certification though kind of fell on me after the training was done. I should have tried to continue studying for it. It would have been nice if you know, I asked to actually be put back into the training with a different training partner. This throat is suddenly dry. Let me get myself some drink here real quick. Um, but needless to say, things could have been better. Um, Now, for those of you watching and you're wondering, what are these videos? Well, first off, I'm not an authorized training partner and I'm not an instructor. So this is not an instructor-led training. I'm trying to get the system architect, much like anybody else. I'm making these videos so that if I come across any kind of questions that I might have, then I'm hoping that, maybe an instructor, maybe someone from Pega Academy, maybe a lead or manager or someone that has had years of Pega experience, maybe they can help me out with answering my questions. Okay, maybe they can try to help me out with that because, um, you know, I'm doing what I can to try to learn the certification, and I can't afford the $5,000 price tag for the instructor-led training. Um, I mean, if you can pay for the instructor-led training, then uh, I wish you luck. It's like a 2-week course, so they're gonna pack everything that there is, from the Pega environment into the instructor-led training. So it's going to be a lot of information trying to being condensed down into a very short time span. So be ready to take a lot of notes and studying a lot because by the end of that instructor-led training, they might be saying, "Hey, okay, so you're going to take the certification right at the very end or something like that." I don't know what uh, I don't know what they do after in the instructor-led training, um, but I would imagine that they would be like, "Yeah, you're ready for the certification after this." So be prepared for taking notes, taking videos, whatever, asking a lot of questions because you should be asking a lot of questions. If you have any problems understanding the material, ask as many questions as you can. So don't be afraid to ask those questions. Okay. Matter of fact, if you want to ask questions on these videos in the comment section or in the, or right now in the chat, um, you're welcome to do so. Okay. I will do my best to try to answer them if I can. If I can't, then I will talk with my past coworkers and see if they can somehow answer it. Okay. It depends on the question, right? But I will do what I can to help you out, okay? Because um, these videos are meant to kind of help everybody else out on everything on this, right? So so yeah, that's pretty much everything about like myself and whatnot. Now, if you're trying to go for the business architect, that's done. I've already covered the two missions, two modules for the 8.7. Obviously, if you're going to go for like 8.8 or the 23, those are being worked on right at this moment in time. I guess 8.8 is officially done. They just need to be translated. And they're probably working on platform 23 right at this moment in time. Is it completely finished? Maybe, maybe not. Hard to say. Um, but that's done. I've already covered those topics, challenges, and whatnot. For business architect. Okay, these two modules there cover the Pega Express, so I would recommend that you go over the mission for Pega Express to make sure that you are very well versed in the Pega Express delivery for the certification for the business architect, seeing that it's like 12% of the certification. Okay, don't get a zero on that portion and wind up with a 88 max because you can only get 70. You know, you got 18% left, and believe me, that's not that's not too many more questions left. So don't put yourself at risk. But we're going to continue on with the system architect certification or mission, to get the certification. Um, let's see. We've finished off the validating data in Dev Studio. We are on the accessing source data in a case. And I don't think I did data pages yesterday, so um, yeah, we're gonna move on to this one in particular. So there's a lot of information on here, so this is probably gonna be taking up the entire 30 minutes on this, if not more. My gosh, there's a lot of information contained in here. So, well, let's get started. So on-demand data access. So case processing often requires access to data sources from other applications or systems. Ensuring the accuracy of sourced data reduces the chance of errors and undesirable outcomes for cases significantly. Okay. In Pega platform applications, a data page retrieves data from a specified data source and caches that data in memory. A data page and manages the integration from the data source, separating business processes from any integration details. This separation allows application developers to use source data in an application without knowing the data source and connection details. So, um, you have data sources and stuff like that, and obviously you have connections to that from various other sources. Unlike most pages that are used in Pega platform, applications attempt to populate the contents of a data page only when the page is accessed, rather than through an explicit action. Due to the on-demand nature of data page content, data pages are considered a type of declarative rule. Pega platform automatically prepends the characters D underscore to the name of a data page to differentiate the page from other pages in memory. Data pages created in versions of Pega platform before 7.1 began with declare instead of D underscore, and that's helpful. That's helpful. Okay, so if you were to see this on the certification exam, then you'll know that, hey, this is before 7.1. But all right, in the following image, click the plus icons to explore how Pega platform populates the contents of a data page. So from the developer creates the data page. The developer creates the data page by configuring the type, structure, and source information to request from the data source. We got two. A user requests data from the data page, and the user attempts an action that requires information from the data page. System tries to retrieve the information from the data page. So there we go. Then we got three. The system checks the cached data. The system checks whether the data page is present in memory. If necessary, the application accesses the cached data on the data page. Then we check 4. If the data page is not in memory or is outdated, the system queries the data source specified on the data page for information. Now, if it's something that requires like information that is like that needs like information like right away, then most likely the sourcing of the data is kind of necessary to be done like almost instantaneously. So like if you're trying to do anything with say the stock market, for example, you want that information like right then and there. Otherwise, if you're even like a second late, then you might be costing the company millions or something like that. You never know, right? So, okay, so 5, the data source returns the requested data if Okay, well, let me see. Maybe nope. Expanding the window does not help the window size there, so I need to take a snipping tool of that. Because if what? So let me go ahead and okay. We'll tackle that a little bit later. Oh, actually, let me read the rest of this. The data source returns the requested information, thus filling in the data page. So, and then of course the user gets back the information. That presents the data to the user. System presents the requested information to the user. So there you go. Check your knowledge with the following interaction. Purpose of the data page is to extract data from a data source for use in an application. Sure. Okay. Let me go down and put in that suggestion real quick. Um, 1 second. Uh, Title of the pop-up window is cut off. What is it trying to say after if? Screenshot attached. Um, this seems to happen a lot, so I would say be proactive and check the other windows and fix them on other topics. Whether it is doing a word wrap to allow for the title to move to the next line or shorten the title itself. I mean, that really does happen a lot. They really do need to kind of fix that. Okay. Data page definition. So in DevStay, you can create data pages. And when creating a data page, the developer must provide four key pieces of information: the structure of the page contents, the object type represented by the contents of the data page, the edit mode supported by the page, and the scope of the data page. Structure of the page determines whether the data page can contain one item or many items. Set the structure of the data page by selecting the option from the structure drop-down list. When using a list structure, the data page embeds the list items in an ordered array named px results. You'll need to remember that because obviously they won't, if it's something that will always be, used to embed list items, then you'll know that if they mention, um, what is, PX results and, um, what's its purpose? Why do we use it? Blah blah blah. Okay. If you get something like that on the certification, then you better know, it's meant for the structure of a data page. So to access a specific record from the list, use the syntax data page name dot px results parentheses n, where n is the index of the order array that corresponds to the record. Consider a data page that contains pricing information for a single stock. The structure is set to page. However, if the data page contains pricing information for all the stocks in an investment portfolio, you set the structure to list. In the center of the following image, slide the vertical line to compare the page and list structures. Alright, so page, and then list. Alright, object type. The object type of page, which, just to make sure, it's the um, second key piece of creating a data page. So the object type of a page identifies the information contained by the data page. To set the object type for the data page, enter the class of the object in the object type field. The object type allows the data page to reference any property defined for the class. For example, a data page that lists dental insurance plans provided by an insurer contains the plan name, cost, and deductible. A data page that lists recent orders placed by the customer contains the order number, order date, total cost, and shipping address. So you'll notice the fact that um, your objects here are having like multiple different you know additional data types associated to it. So you're basically saying, hey, here's the structure that we're going to be putting all the data into. The plan name, the cost, and the deductible, and this is what it's called, kind of thing. So um, same with orders over there. So okay, edit mode, which is the third key piece in creating a data page. The edit mode of a data page indicates how or if an application can manipulate the information on a data page. Set the data page mode by selecting an option from the mode drop-down list. Set the edit mode to read only to prevent an application from updating the data page except when loading and updating the contents from the data source. Read-only mode prevents users from editing information sourced from a system record and ensures that the data page content always matches the content loaded from the system record. For example, when accessing the accidental history of an auto insurance customer from the Department of Motor Vehicles database, state or national laws may prohibit editing the source data. To comply with this legal requirement, set the page mode to read-only. If the page mode is read-only, the clipboard tool lists the data page in the data pages category. Okay, and what happens if it's not in the data pages category? If the data page mode is editable, the clipboard tool lists the data page in the user pages category. Okay, that is going to be good to know. Remember that for the certification there, folks. So, you know, set the edit mode to editable if to allow an application to edit the data page contents. For example, the retailer allows customers to save one or more preferred shipping addresses when placing an order. The list of addresses is loaded from a customer database using a data page. To allow a customer to update an address during an order, you set the page mode to editable. So, set the edit mode to savable to configure a save plan that allows the application to push the page contents back to the data source. For example, after a customer updates a shipping address, the application copies the updated address to a savable data page, configured to update the customer database. When the customer completes the order, the application follows the save plan to connect to the customer database. Okay, and now the last but not least is the scope of the data page, the fourth key piece, for a data page. All right, the scope of a data page determines the visibility of the page contents within the application. To set the page scope, select one of the support options of the scope dropdown: thread, requester, or node. In the following image, click the plus icons to learn more about the scope options and examine how you can leverage scope settings to manage cache data within the Pega platform applications. Alright, so a thread. Select thread if the contents of the data page are unique to a single case. Pega platform populates an instance of a threaded data page for each case in system memory, managing each instance to prevent a user from accessing data requested for a different case. Okay, let's see what this is all about. So thread scope, use case, caching data on stock prices and volumes during a buy or sell transaction. Solution: configure the scope of the data page on thread to ensure that each transaction references the current price and volume data for the appropriate action when creating the transaction request. Alright, requester. Select requester if the contents of the data page are common to all of the cases created by a single user or system. Pega platform populates an instance of the data page for each user or system session. Any thread created during the session can access the data page instance. Use case: caching a list of privileged shipping addresses. Solution: configure the scope of the data page on requester to use the list of shipping addresses for each order placed by a single customer. The customer can select the appropriate delivery address for each order without reloading the entire list each time. And then we got node. Select node if all users or system tasks on the system can share the contents of a data page. Pega platform populates a single instance of the data page the first time a user or system action requests the page. All users or system actions that follow access the cached page rather than creating additional instances of the data page. Alright, so node scope, use case, caching a list of makes and models of vehicles to fill in a set of search fields to establish an auto insurance quote. Solution: configure the scope of the data page on node as the list of vehicle makes and models is common to all quotes. So, multiple users can access that data page, and create multiple quotes using it. So, check your knowledge with the following interaction. A data page whose scope is set to thread is available to you on it didn't actually specify all that. I don't think. Hmm. It never really said anything about folders in this particular case here, so I'm gonna have to try to interpret what they're trying to go for on this, which um, um, okay. Before I move on, or before I click an answer, let me take a screenshot of that because you know, they didn't really mention anything concerning folders, so but I'm gonna assume that they mean a single folder. So how do you set up a data page that contains only data related to a single object? Um, Set the structure to page. When editing mode, should I select for a data page if I want to transfer the content of the page back to the data source? Um, so probably savable. Yep. Yeah, that first question is a little off because of the wording. Because they didn't specify folder anywhere in these, in, anything here. Not even in their little graphics that they're doing here. So, um, now obviously you can try to imply it, which, that's what it did, but still, they need to be clear when it comes to that. Otherwise, they're just going to confuse anybody that, is trying to access it. There is a lot of information. Okay, so we're probably going to be getting, we might be getting late into the Unreal, so that's going to be a little rough. Um, Let me let Blackheart know. Um, Pega topic is lengthy. I might be a few minutes late. Okay. Use the data sources section in the data page form to specify how a Pega platform populates the contents of the data page when application references the page. To configure a data source, specify the type of the source and name of the data source. You can use any of the following options to configure a data source for a data page: data transform, activity, connector, report definition, database lookup, robotic automation, robotic desktop automation. Oh my gosh. Okay, for each source type, you identify the data source to query. The following example shows a data source to configure to populate a data page with a list structure by running the data table editor report for the class go road data customer. You know what? I don't really want to rush this there, folks, and there's a lot more to this. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this into two. This is kind of my fault in that, um, coming into this late. I started at 2:30, but I mean this topic is a lot. The fact that they're saying that this is 10 minutes is ridiculous. This is not 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I don't care what you know, you must be smoking something if you think that, someone can read all of this in 10 minutes and maintain it. Um, that seems ridiculous. Um, well, let me go ahead and put in that other suggestion because, um, that's a problem. Um, the question here is talking about folders, yet the topics above did not mention folders at all. Um, Now, we can interpret what you might be going for, but um, I feel like um, it is another um, example of old graphic or something not being updated to new keywords. Um, um, or vice versa. Um, was still able to get the correct answer, but it left me wondering if folders are indeed something that I might need to look out for in the certification itself. Or was it just an example of what could be seen? Screenshot attached. Alright. Alright. Yeah, this is a lengthy one there, folks. So I'll have to remember that we're going to be going from data sources uh, tomorrow to continue on with this. Um, uh, and then maybe we can move on to the next one, but I mean, it's also another 10 minutes long. Um, But actually, that isn't that lengthy, so I might be able to get through this one if I can finish off the other tomorrow easily enough. We'll see. Um, uh, I'm just going to cut the topic into it might have gone over 15 minutes or more. So give me a few and I'll be ready for Unreal. Okay. Uh, okay. There's that. Alright there folks. Like I said, I'm gonna kind of cut this short, or I'm gonna cut the data pages short because this is not 10 minutes. So we're gonna start with data sources tomorrow. Continuing on along those lines. We're gonna try to finish up the remaining part of this. The reason why I'm doing this is that there's a lot of information kind of contained in here. I mean, just this alone here, requires quite a bit of focus to make sure that you remember, everything that, could be, um, that could be used. Um, so I just don't want to, I don't want to rush through it and, um, I want to be able to try to get it into the long-term memory, right? Um, so, um, I'm still not sure about the whole folders part of this. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a ton of information here, there, folks. So, this is probably a topic that you may want to consider. I mean, if you don't really get it naturally, you may need to refer to it, you know, multiple times. So, so yeah. But that's where we're going to go ahead and close on down for our Pega studying session. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this, um, today for it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Um, help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Like, subscribe, and all that. That would be fantastic. We're going to be moving on to Unreal in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and shut off the recording right now.